The American dream, twisted by the American thieves, teaching us to worship green and glorify greed, paving the path to hell with gold and promises we can't afford for lives we can't sustain. And though our choices are our responsibilities, does each person not have a moral responsibility to the greater good? Isn't moral hazard too dangerous to be misunderstood? And what about the systemic risk of the American people losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing their lives? To turn a profit at any cost seems to be the American way you have sold to the world while plundering the blood, sweat, and tears of people everywhere. And no, I do not believe capitalism is evil. Unless it is abused, confused, and misconstrued, and corporations are insisting that they are people too, and then you treat these people as derivatives that you can bet on and trade. And when you place your bet on a corporation to fail, what about the people? I mean the real people that fail with it. What do they win in your high-risk games? Corporate interest is a private liability. When too big to fail becomes a mantra for the thieving parties who know they can win regardless of the means or the end. And they did win, and we did pay. And still you act in obscene ways, paying no mind to those you use along the way. You outsource jobs to decent wages and taxes you evade, and your bank account grows while the U.S. economy folds. But chosen ignorance is bliss, and denial is your shield. If you can't hear them, they're not crying. If you can't see them, they're not dying. And you see, racism and classism do exist. And you know that if you could divide, you might be able to conquer. And to educate the masses would be to arm them against you. So there are children, not yours of course, who walk through metal detectors into one hallowed hall hoping they might learn something from at least one engaging teacher who's dedicated her life to helping others who makes less money than your personal assistant. But that's just fine. Because if the others aren't educated, they can't take your jobs away. But they can go to war for you. As you reap the profits, their deaths will sow for you, and the blood they shed will stain your hands, but you will never see it. Because chosen ignorance is bliss, and denial is your shield. If you can't hear them, they're not crying. If you can't see them, they're not dying. And if they won't end up sleeping on your streets, then you can take their homes away. Make your money on a lie, give false hope and a sense of pride to turn another profit. Because chosen ignorance is bliss, and denial is your shield. If you can't hear them, they're not crying. If you can't see them, they're not dying. If they get sick, well, let them die. So we must rise up against this false American machine, no longer the voice of the many, but now the arm of the few, evolved from a Congress who is no longer by the people or for the people. We, the people, must forge a more perfect union. To revive justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare. Now, if that sounds like socialist propaganda to you, then maybe you should actually read the Constitution. So a word of advice to the congressionally backed corporate kings of America and the corporate-backed congressmen of America: be careful of stones thrown from your glass castles, where you can leave the rest of the human race as a mere picture on a screen that comes up on Fox News briefs, where you have the power to delete from your view a world which seems so askew but seemingly has no effect on you. And you can feel safe until the others pick up your stones.